What's up, everybody? How you doing? Seven. Can you hear me?
Yo, what's good? Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on last minute. I wanted to have somebody to talk to because if I don't know a lot about an issue, I want to have a discussion about it. I don't want just to assume and say, hey, I have my opinion. This is what I'm going to share to the world. I recognize my opinion could be wrong. And I have an opinion about a lot of things. Some things I've been watching closely and some things I have not been watching as closely.
Fair.
So one of those things I have to admit, I have not been watching closely because I'm trying to adopt a different position, a calmer position in regard to the world. And certain things going to piss me off. And one of those things that was going to piss me off is the Derek Chauvin trial.
Okay.
And even I'm still getting pissed off because of things that I'm hearing outside of the trial without even witnessing the trial in real time. What is your take on it right now? Well, here's a couple things that I'm hearing. One is the approach in regard to defending Derek is based upon absolving Derek of his actions because he is part of a larger system. Hold on a second, I got a message. All right, cool. Because he's part of a larger system, right? Yeah. And so because he was just doing his job in Nazi Germany, we call it just following orders. But because he was just doing his job, he's not responsible for what happened. Like basically a instrument of the state, and as an instrument of the state, he is absolved of culpability, responsibility. He can't even be accused of being emotional because he's just a cog in the machine, I guess. And how can a cog be racist? See, that's kind of shit that pisses me off. Go ahead.
No. You're absolutely right. And maybe we're getting ahead of things, but I kind of feel like that's how the system or the cogs within the system are set up such that they can't necessarily be responsible for their role within the system because because if all they are doing is playing their part within the system, they're not necessarily responsible per se for the system as a whole. All they're doing is playing their part within it. That's just part of the design of it, so that way you can't necessarily point a finger at one person for anything. That way, any and everything that happens to you is always something that's completely and always escapable.
Distributed accountability. I mean, we saw that. We're seeing that in regard to the Breonna Taylor trial, as well. It's like, this person over here didn't fill out this form properly, and we were confused. Chain of command. We had no idea that Breonna was no longer involved with this dude. So because we had that fog of war, we had to just shoot into the house. Like we would never do in one of your more affluent neighborhoods. We just had to unleash into the house a barrage of bullets just because we weren't sure, and that's okay. So none of us are responsible because we're all shooting. Who knows, what bullet actually, did the damage. We don't have our names on it. So how can we punish any of us? Because we were all shooting.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's the game we want to play, I don't know. I feel like so like if we're looking at this case, right? This case, and so I was looking at the opening arguments and all that stuff, and I haven't been necessarily. I didn't sit through the whole 7-8 hours of it yesterday and all that today. I didn't do that, so I'm not gonna sit there in front or fake the funk. I did listen to a couple of the witnesses and some of their testimonies and all that. So, and as well as the open arguments from the prosecution and the defense, and it just from the the George Floyd side of the game, basically from the prosecution, they're basically saying, hey, this guy kneeled on this man for, and actually I thought it was kind of interesting. They said 9 minutes and 29 seconds. You know, we have been saying 8 minutes and 46 seconds for the longest.
Yeah.
But so I thought it was interesting. They said this was for 9 minutes and 29 seconds that this man had been on, George Floyd's neck, and all of that, and the evidence will show that. Then the defense comes back and says, well, we'll prove and show that the evidence is going to show for us that he had these drugs in his system, he had this in the system, and he had this and this, and that's why he really died. On top of adrenaline, which you don't even know what adrenaline is going to do.
Yep.
I mean, they actually so that, but they said, and that's part of their defense. So I'm just like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. I feel like if they're going to sit there and actually say with a bold face that it's because this man had drugs in his system that he died, not the fact that he couldn't breathe. And and that's right. And there's another thing, this very key point. They said that there was no evidence that proved that he couldn't breathe, because when they pulled the skin back, there was no bruising on his neck or shoulder or anything like that, or any of the muscles or anything. So and they said that there was no evidence to show that he couldn't breathe. And I'm thinking, didn't he say I can't breathe? I could have sworn he said, I can't, Mr. Officer, I can't breathe. Please, sir, I can't breathe. Please, sir. I could have swore he said that. So
audio was there.
So if they're talking about there's no evidence, I mean, there's a heap of it right there. As my people would say, all heap of it right there. All heap. Right.
Are you gonna believe the agent of the state or the choking dying man, Seven? Are you gonna believe the agent of the state? And that's the thing too. At Duke. Yeah. And here's how it flows. Did you hear about the story at Duke?
No.
So basically, in one of the public forums at Duke, one of the areas of like, where you can post public displays and whatnot, somebody put up George Floyd's toxicology report or arrest record or some shit like that.
Wow.
Posted it. Didn't put a name or anything beside it, but
Is that a HIPAA violation?
Well, the thing is.
Well, I guess because after he's passed, now it's public record. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how to go. Do you know how to go?
I don't know how it goes. All I know is I don't think it was like his personal. I don't think it was something that had like taken from his personal affairs and illegally acquired. I think it was something that was like made public through some means.
Right.
But the fact that it was posted, it says a couple things. One, like you're talking about here, it's like, you get this narrative, right? This bullshit narrative that is bullshit, but you give it life.
Yeah.
And then you got to like spread it around to people, let enough people know. And then suddenly people are arguing against that bullshit narrative as if it's just as viable as the truth itself. And so you have the prosecutor originating this bullshit narrative. Mm-hmm. And this bullshit narrative didn't just begin with the prosecutor. Like whenever everything went down, people were already talking about George Floyd's toxicology report, arrest record, and previous encounter with Derek at one point or whatever in a club or something like that.
Blame the victim. Yeah,
exactly. So you have the victim blaming that began whenever the whole thing went down, that turned into official victim blaming via the trial itself, because this is being entered into like legal record. So we're codifying it. So we're making it like official. This is no longer rumor anymore. Like I heard, no, we've made it official. We can actually search this shit now in history. And so later on in history, whenever you're regarding this moment, you're looking back and two people are looking at the situation and saying, yeah, these two positions are viable, because not only was it entered here, this information circulated all over the place, as you can see at this via the situation that happened at Duke University. People were even talking about it there. It was really controversial. Even though it really wasn't, it's black and white. We know what happened. We watched it in real time.
Yeah.
And you don't tell me, out of all of the factors that contributed to this man's death, a knee on his neck, you know, this is just as all means of death matter, apparently. It's just as viable.
That's it. That's it. All deaths matter. You did not know that. That's it. But no, I mean, it's really weird and it's strange that, you know, that's how that, you know, that's the way that we want to kind of, you know, play this game, you know, and we're seeing it played out in real life, you know. So first of all, I didn't even know about that whole thing with Duke University and toxicology report release. I didn't know anything about that.
Clan culture everywhere. We're gonna talk about that shortly. Clan culture everywhere.
Man, I mean, that's wild. That's wild. That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I am in the South, you know, but still, it's on a bunch of different levels.
I mean, but still, so because somebody is whatever or however you view them, that means that they are no longer deserving of humanness or deserving of any sort of humanity. We can't treat them like a human being still. We can't do that because now this person is lesser than.
And on every single level, to piggyback off that statement, at every single level, we're making a farce of the criminal justice system because we are literally rationalizing
Except
and not just an exception to the rule, but the death penalty for a minor infraction. Like, that's bigger than the racism to me. If you're a white person, you're looking at this situation, you should be looking at it and saying, yo, that could potentially happen to me. But when we reframe it as solely a racial systemic problem, then certain sections of the population can tune out. It's not going to affect me. It's no big problem. You know, obviously, you know, the toxicology report, you know, does play into this some way, somehow. And who is to say, you know, you have been given an out. You've been given an option to say, this doesn't involve me. This could be something else. I'm going to look the other way. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, you know, makes it so I just don't watch the Derek Chauvin trial. I invite individuals like you on the show, and we can have this conversation. I can get mad here, and I can like, yeah, it's still being fucked up someplace else.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing, because part of me, so I watched the Twitters. I watched the tweets. You know, I checked that out.
I have been doing that. I've been reading about the Derek Chauvin trial.
Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of that, and I came across this one where a young lady said something along the lines of, I really want to watch the Derek Chauvin trial, but I really don't want to watch the Derek Chauvin trial because I know what I'm going to see at that Derek Chauvin trial. You know, it's like, it's almost, and you know, that can go a myriad of ways, but the way I kind of took it was like, we know that the bullshit is coming. We know the bullshit is coming. We've already seen it. We've seen it at play. We see it at play with Breonna, with Sandra, with, you know, Botham Jean. You know, we've seen it in so many different scenarios. So why is this going to be any different? You know, so sure, we'll have this trial. Sure, we'll have this man, and we'll do the spectacle thing. Sure, we'll put him out on display and parade him out so that everyone can say shame as he walks back up to his police precinct, gets his damn job, and says, "Fuck you! I still get my retirement and my benefits." You know, so it's like honestly, that's honestly where I feel like this is going. They're like,
Go, I'll let you finish.
Well, because like even if he gets is found guilty, I mean, it's not first degree murder. Not, I mean, he's facing what is it? A mandatory possibility of 10? I think.
Yeah, and then they already settled right with the family, you know, in regard to like the financial payout. Wasn't there the civil trial that didn't they already pay in the millions of dollars?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, Floyd's life already been paid for. Like, we paid for that slave. Well, yeah, we killed him. Yeah, we killed the slave, but we paid pretty penny for him. So if you let our overseer, the officer, go along his merry way, we'll be fine. Everything will be good. Mm-hmm. And whenever you were talking, the reason why I got excited is because something just clicked for me. It's like, you know the concept of the sin eater?
I'm sorry, the what?
You know what a sin eater is? Like sins, like forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
No, I've never heard of a sin. Well, maybe I have. Go ahead. Okay. It sounds vaguely familiar.
Let's click over to Wikipedia real quick. I just want to go, even though Wikipedia is not the authority and all that stuff, but like, I just want you to definition. A sin
eater.
Like no, not like a man eater, a sin eater.
Oh.
A sin eater is a person who consumes a ritual meal in order to spiritually take the sins of a deceased person. The food was believed to absorb the sins of a recently dead person, thus absolving the soul of the person. Sin eaters, as a consequence, carried the sins of all people whose sins they had eaten. Cultural anthropologists and folklorists classify sin eating as a form of ritual. It is most commonly associated with Wales, English counties bordering Wales, and Welsh culture. Right?
Okay.
So, with understanding of that, in history, not to say that this is a deliberate thing or whatever, but it's a perfect metaphor for what cops have become, like in our increasingly authoritarian society. They become the sin eaters for the wealthy and the powerful. So every so often, in order to maintain any kind of socio-political, dominance, you're going to have to exert some amount of force on the population. Whether it be, more often than that, you want to avoid those large demonstrations of force. You want to avoid having to suppress, an uprising or a riot. So if you have small, extreme demonstrations of force, then individuals can get that message. And you'll see it reflected in the population because they won't even act when those small, extreme demonstrations of force happen because they're so appalled. Like in the South, we used to. That's the main reason why they
like using a sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Exactly. Yeah. And every ant's gonna be like, "Whoa!" Like she didn't grab a fly swatter. They didn't grab the bug spray.
Damn, bro, like that. Basically.
Did you see what they did to Andre? Like they put a metal mountain on him. And so that reverberates throughout time. You tell all your aunt children, you don't want to be like a great grand Uncle Andre, like a whole sledgehammer came down on his entire body. It was we heard it was terrible. So you have these grotesque acts of focused violence that happen, and they can't be performed by the elites themselves. Like, you ain't never going to see some rich dude in the middle of MLK Avenue getting his esophagus caved in by some law enforcement officer. It's just not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
No, but you will see that on Main Street in Kansas City. You probably see that. You see it in Westport. You'll definitely see it in Westport. You'll see it in the Gold Coast in Chicago, on the Gold Coast, the Magnificent Mile. You'll see it there. Hyde Park in any city.
Okay, Boulevard in any city.
Oh my gosh! But yeah. I mean, it's. But you're absolutely right.
The cops they eat it. The cops they step up for this, thinking that they're signing on to protect and to serve. But you're signing on basically to eat those sins. You've got to be the vanguards of that protecting that class, and you've got to protect that class with extreme, heinous acts of violence that are sanctioned by the state. That's Absolutely. The other thing. It's not like, so him getting off is part of the thing. It's not like, oh my God, everybody's wringing their hands. Just like you said, we know the bullshit's coming. The bullshit has to come. because he has to be exonerated by the state to let all these other cops know every so often you gotta do some fuckboy shit too. Fuckboy shit. We got your back.
No, you're right, and that's why we see the militarization of police departments nowadays. You know, with tanks and all that stuff, and armored vehicles and shit. You're like, what the fuck? Why do you need that in a city? Like, what is going on? Do we got bazookas in this month? Like, are they shooting back with bazookas? Why do you need that? What are you taking out? What is the necessity that this is fitting? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we actually doing right now? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's what they do. They do that in effort to say, okay, well, if I knock the fuck out of one, or this 3, maybe the next 100 around that's watching me will think twice before they rise up. And it's funny you say that, because it's like, I kind of think of it like almost like if you think of it like one like that, let's say there's a huge circle of just people in mass, just trying to reach towards the circle, right? But what's keeping them from getting to the middle of the circle is the cops. You know what I'm saying? It's a circle of cops and standing behind some barbed wire. And right behind those cops is one man sitting there with a delicate knife and fork as he cuts into his very delicate filet mignon. You know, it's like the cops, in my assessment, is like they are the line of defense, you know, that's keeping, you know, the proletariat from you know what I'm saying? I mean, for real, that you keeping the poor from eating the rich.
It's exemplified, and then everybody's aware of it. I mean, everybody's aware of it.
And the rich are backing them.
Yeah,
they with it.
Yeah,
they are with it. Listen, they are with it. That's why we got them back in. You know, they're like, hey, you know, we're with the police. You know, no, all Black lives, yeah, all that, yeah, but the police too. You know what I'm saying? So we're seeing a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like if, you know, like they're doing that, but at the same time, they're like, hey, Elon, about that colonization of the moon.
You got spot, right? You got spot. Things are getting kind of bad here. They are bad.
Need to get out of here, man. If you could, you know. So I mean, that's the way it's kind of looking, you know. So they're playing both sides, because at the end of the day, they don't want to get eaten. They don't want to lose their position. They don't want to lose what they have, and they want to keep some certain barriers up so not everybody can get to them.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't. I could see if it like had to be that way, but it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't. And I mean, we've been talking about this. You know, Carrie and Andy talking about a lot. You know, regard to MMT theory and whatnot, and you know, and how we can actually pay for these things. I mean, with the shit, we aren't even paying for the shit that we say we're paying for now. Like, so it's going back to what we were talking about in regard to the cops.
Yeah.
So the cops are all circled, but at the same time, being that first line of defense, they're not even guaranteed to be protected. Like in the Derek Chauvin trial, he has to get off, you know, in order for everybody to, you know, acknowledge the fact that the state will protect the police. But every so often, a cop gets it because they were placed in the line of duty, pushing back against the same stuff that was being pushed by the people who were supposed to be protecting them. Case in point, the January 6th insurrection. That cop showed up. That cop was a Trump supporter. Yo, I'm backing the rich. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to go to my job today and, you know, be at the Capitol and, you know, just you know, do what I'm supposed to do. What the fuck is coming? Why are all these Trump supporters coming this way? Hi, how you doing? You guys can't come this way. Why? Right. I don't know what you got. Why are you guys hitting me?
See,
so even they can get it too.
Dude, but they got to just throw out that one sacrificial lamb. That's what it is. They get that's all that is. You know, I just feel like, so even if they decide to give, you know, throw throw some meat to the savages that are that are coming at them. It's still not fixing the problem. That this is the system. This is the system. The system is set up this way that all eyes are on you, but not so much that where everybody can get to you. So hence you have to have your protective walls that are up and your systems that are in place to keep people up, and your barriers of entry that to keep people away. But I also feel like with this whole man, I had a point. So with this Derek Chauvin thing, that was because you made a good point, and I wanted to make sure I hit on it. But damn it, I didn't cross my fingers and do the thing that I usually do to make sure I remember the thing that I was about to say that goes into the thing that you're saying. Okay. The sacrificial lamb. So, but yeah, so same time. If we decide to say, let's say Derek Chauvin gets found guilty, big whoop. Okay, great. Same time, they just let 3 people off from the Capitol riots, who were being charged, who were there, who actually were on site, who did things. They were just found out guilty, and now they've been released. So again, we're not fixing the system. We're not doing anything to fix the system. All we're doing is saying, all right, here's one. Now shut up. Here's one. Now get out my face. Yeah. Go on now. And I mean, and like you said, it really doesn't have to be that way.
No, and no cop knows. It's like Jesus. You don't know the day nor the hour. Like
you don't know when suddenly they won't have your back.
Exactly.
And then they'll say, well, you're gonna have to be that one. Man, you watched the show on I think it's on Hulu called 000.
Somebody told me about the show. I'm going to watch that. You're like the third person who's told me about it.
Yeah, really interesting show. There's a scene in there.
Like cocaine trade or something like that. What is
that? Yeah. More, and it is so. Let me just say this. Let's just put this on the record. Mm-hmm. So as much as the United States talks about we're anti-drug and we're anti-fascism and all this stuff, it's amazing how much World War II, Hitler memorabilia and all that stuff sells, and it's amazing how many movies about drugs and cocaine and all that stuff we'll make. Like we got so much footage, we got so many stories just about the Medellin cartel alone.
I'm watching Snowfall right now. That's what Raiders will have me watching 000 because I'm like I don't want my drug film consumption to overlap. I'll get confused.
You need a good balance. You got to have a little bit of the Latino side. You got to have a little bit of the black side. You gotta with the white people, of course. Sprinkling it among the two, playing one side while also taking from the other, getting from one and then taking from the other. That way we're keeping the circle going. That's how you keep the circle going.
I just finished watching Narcos, and then watching Ozark, and then
love Ozark.
Second season of Narcos, and it's like none of this is based in. I mean, we're telling glorified stories, but the base is the same for all of them.
Yeah,
there are drugs coming into this country at a regular rate that by the border,
and we allowed it, sanctioned it, orchestrated it,
ourselves,
facilitated it. However you want to make it, just make it plain. We did it. America did that shit. And then we blame people who were selling the shit and getting caught for getting caught. We were blaming people and we were like, what do you mean? You gave me the shit. You gave it to me. I didn't get this from. It didn't grow here. It's saved right here. Made in Colombia. I don't even know what Colombia at.
Show me the American poppy fields. Show me the American cocaine fields. I need to see how they came over airspace. We can track the location of Capitol rioters by their cell phones, but for some reason,
we just can't seem to get no drug dudes. We can't never seem to get the drug people.
It's not that pipeline.
We can't ever, you know what I'm saying? We can't ever. Oliver North and them, you know what I'm saying? He gets to be on Fox News and come out and spit his old memorabilia and speak to the whole world and tell everybody about how this, that, and t'other. Again, then at the same time, a man is not doing anything in regard to what's really going on. Well, I'm sorry, we're not even talking about what he actually did, his role in doing anything in regard to the drug trade, how he allowed sanction and made sure that the United States was playing both sides so we could get people on one side and put people in jail on the other. Like, what do we, So again, and that's again, that kind of goes back to that whole thing about the system, and the elevation of certain people and the obstacles and pushing down that we do of others.
Yeah, I mean it's a constant punch down. Like it's a constant punch down. Which is why like racism has to be reinforced. Which is why we've got to continue these narratives and protect these racist legacies. Which brings me to the rename Seaman Project, the USD 345 Project, as I like to call it.
Right before you get into that, so we got someone saying that this is. We got a couple comments, and I want to make sure that they're addressed because I don't want them to say that this is a boring stream.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see the chat. I was on a whole other screen, so I didn't see it.
Says political cringe, play, fall out, New Vegas instead.
Okay. Oh, okay. So somebody. This is one of a Twitch streamer who's okay. That's why I didn't respond because I didn't want to talk to you, sir. No, but no, it's fine. It's relevant because here's a situation. So out in Kansas, still, they had the meeting in March.
Sure.
At the meeting in March. They did what was anticipated. They kicked the can down the road. But what they did first was they opened the floor for people to speak, the community to speak. And when I say community, I primarily mean the bigots who hadn't spoken until that point that came along where people recognized that, oh shit, this might be a problem. They may actually succeed in doing this unless we speak back, unless we say something. So we need to have some kind of forum. So the forum took place. And people from both sides discussed the legacy of Fred Seaman, the Klan leader who founded that school district, specifically with the intention of building a vanguard for the Klan, where basically Klan sentiments, Klan history, Klan just the Klan culture would be cemented and reinforced. That's the main reason why Fred Seaman, because that's one of the tenets of the Ku Klux Klan. They go after the education. They want the education because if we can give you the books that you're supposed to read, then you will forget the fact that this whole country is built on slavery. That's the point. That's the aim. That's what we're getting at. So. During this discussion, both sides rationalized, given the forum, and at the end, I've been going after one particular school board member in particular.
USD 345.
Exactly, one particular school board member in particular, because of my connection to this individual. He should be hearing my voice. And in this meeting, this man had the audacity to say, yes, I was bullied. It happened to me. And I was bullied, and he owned it. It's the funny way that he owned the action. He said, I was bullied in part because of some stuff that I posted. But
is it? Go ahead.
But I did so because I am a proud seaman.
Boy? Oh.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I'm like, okay, so that's the weirdest way to say, yes, I beat my wife, but I'm a strong man, and she said some stuff that was deserving. It wasn't just offensive to me that he made such a backtrack. It was offensive because of the fact that what he was defending wasn't even like attacking me. It's one thing if he was like, I was bullied and I'm upset and I'm outraged. My family went through this because whatever, because this one individual. No, the person that you punched down on, the person that you were attacking, the main reason why I came after this individual to begin with, the way that I came after him, when I cyberbullied him by using his own words.
Facts are not your friend.
Apparently, I was just really.
Facts are not a friend of the right.
The main reason why I came after his ass is because in his posts, he was busy targeting, basically setting the same community up that he was in front of for this particular reason about this rename issue. He was online talking about these students and talking about these teachers, drawing focus to them. They have been attacked since they've spoken up about this. Since they've pushed back, they have been attacked. They've been increasingly bullied at the school. We sent out buttons for them. They've had buttons taken out their backpacks. And I'll admit, I knew this was going to happen. This was part of what I've been preparing these students for. And I said, the moment you become visible, the moment you start actually doing stuff that actually means something in regard to this rename effort, you're going to start dealing with some ugly people. If you're fighting for civil rights,
you're going to pull that carpet bat and see that, it's not necessarily a hardwood floor underneath.
Exactly. And so that's what's going on right now. But they want to pretend like whenever you looked at that auditorium where everything was going down, the students told me everybody on one side of that auditorium was of a certain complexion. And then everybody on the other side of the auditorium was a multitude of complexions.
Wow.
But there's no racism. There's no racism. There's no racism to be had. We're not here defending a racist here, even though we can chromatically divide.
Did anybody make that argument that actually, if you think about it, the Africans are the ones who sold their own people into slavery? So if they hadn't sold their people into slavery, then there'd be no purpose of us having a seaman in high school in the first place, if you think about it like that.
The funny thing, you had arguments similar to that, but the bigger arguments in regard to legacy were, if we do this, you can't change the past. You're going to, you're trying to rewrite history, and the main reason why I say that argument is so big is because that's not the only place we've seen it. Down in Florida, I'm talking with this coalition of individuals down in Florida, working to rename Robert E. Lee High School down there in Jacksonville, I believe.
Okay.
And so that's not the only place. And you today were posting a number of locations.
Absolutely.
That are fighting the same battle. And I mentioned Florida because we'd see there was another school board meeting down there where they had a forum where people were able to come forward and talk about their issue. And lo and behold, what comes out, what comes up, what excuses are used? You can't change history. We need to keep it and learn from it. It's almost like the audiences from Seaman USD 345 in Florida were damn near interchangeable in regard to keeping the name, keeping the legacy.
You don't say.
It's crazy. It's almost like based off of a racial precedent. These individuals share the same methods of gaslighting, and hostile response. It's crazy.
Really? Get out.
But I don't want to call it racism. I'm just trying to say, it sounds like that's what it might be. I'm just trying to say.
I mean, it sounds like a quacking and waddling albatross, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, all I can do is spit the facts. It's up to you. It's up to the people out there to interpret how they are. You know what I'm
saying? And so, that's why I was like, I saw this connection. And then the same thing up in Massachusetts. There's another school with a racist mascot, the Braves, and basically the Native American community up there has said, this has been offensive to us for some time, and we would like you to replace it. and alumni of the school. Chipping in again. You can't change history. It is what it is.
Can't do that. How dare you? You can't do that right now. Now that happened, and all that. Yeah. I don't get that. And like I don't. So I brought this up with a good friend of mine who is who's a minister at a prominent church down south, and he was telling me that when he used to go to high school, he went to high school in Waco, Texas, at Odessa Permian, Go Mojo, and so he was out there, and you know, their rival school was Robert E. Lee High School. Or one of their rivals was, you know, Robert E. Lee. And he actually was telling me about, like, you know, how, you know, it was just, they were just the worst, blah, 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 and all this. And he, you know, just happened to, on a whim, look up and saw that they had actually changed their name to, I think it's Liberty High School.
Liberty or Freedom or something like that. But yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, they're Liberty High School now. So I'm actually interested in finding out, you know, how that whole thing worked out, and or I should say how it played out, and you know, how we can kind of, you know, throw that on to, you know, what the efforts that you guys have got going on, you know what I'm saying? So that way we can make sure that we're not, you know, recreating the wheel if we don't have to, especially if you know, they already have the blueprint. So I think that would be a good idea to, you know, to tap into. But some of these people, though, some of these people that are defending, you know, but under the guise of religion, I'm sorry, not religion, of lineage, sorry, and saying, you know, this is my heritage or history and all, and it's like, why do you want to hold on to this history? Why, like
4 years, Confederates, 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of history out there. Why is this history that important to you now? And now, because a lot of times, let's be real, a lot of times people don't even know the names of the people that they're going to school for. Like a lot of times, because like I went to school, Alexander Fleming, our rival school, our sister school was Robert L. Grimes. People didn't know that dude was just somebody who was a good principal in the neighborhood, like just Chicago principal. They named the school after him. That's, you know, he was just dope. So, but people thought, like, for the longest, he was like some huge historical figure and all this big stuff. And I'm like, have you ever looked him up? Have you ever just looked him up? You know, and that's what I'm saying. So sometimes when people are talking about, you know, this is my lineage, this is my heritage, all you're talking about is my memories of being at this school while it had that name. Well, you know what? Those memories ain't going nowhere. They're still in your brain. You hold on to them. You still got the pictures, still got the yearbook. Ain't nobody taking none of that stuff away. All we're doing is saying, you know what? Going forward, let's not do that for little Deontay and DeAndre and them who are sitting here going to the school while he got the racist dude sitting across his chest talking about, this is the school I represent, Pete.
It's normalizing the culture for another generation. Like, if you recognize something was bad back then, like bad enough that, you know what, people just stopped talking about it. People buried that reality. People buried that fact. It went into legend for a reason, because people recognize, you know what, this is damaging, this is hurtful, this could be problematic. Like, let's try to, like, what they should have done is they should have renamed it then when they recognized that. But the problem was the district was founded by people who accepted and recognized him as being a racist, and they were racist themselves. Like, Fred Seaman didn't just make a district by himself and said, hey, I'm Fred Seaman, the Klan leader of nobody. Yeah. Come to our schools. No, he and his Klan.
On this rock, I will build my racism. Like, no, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
So
it's baked in.
The community was fine with it. The community was fine with it. And they accepted it and said, we are on board with creating this culture, with creating this incubator for hate.
Let's give them benefit of the doubt. Let's say maybe some of them didn't care, and other ones were maybe like along the lines of, well, if I say something, I know that ain't the side that I want to be on because I like living.
Well, that's there's that too. There is that.
Because, I mean, they didn't have the civil societies we have these days.
I give you that. I'll give you that. But the whole issue, the only issue I have there, Seven, is because I mean I've heard people use similar arguments in regard to the time frame, the time period. We're outnumbered, blah blah blah. Well, first of all, John Brown.
Let's do it. Let's go there.
John Brown. He murdered all the way across Kansas to keep slavery from being taken up there. Came back and was killed in the South. So you have people who are brave enough to say, no, we ain't doing this shit, and I will take you out if you try to do this shit. So you have people with the testicular fortitude, the ovarian fortitude.
Yeah, they were alpha guys.
Who are basically,
alpha males, right?
And say, no, this should not happen. We're stopping this right here, right now.
Yeah.
You had the governor of Kansas, because that's what some of the historical documents that were dredged up by these students proved, that no, this was not the law of the land. The governor of Kansas said, yo, the Klan is coming here. They are a problem. They do not belong here. They're like, I mean, it was just like, speaking out, Joe Biden speaking about the Proud Boys or some shit. He was basically saying they don't belong here. They don't belong, in Kansas, don't belong in our politics, blah, 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 blah. Just a year before that statement he made, you had the Nebraska, the Nebraska riots, where the dude was burned alive.
You were telling me about that last time. Yeah,
they sold the rope that they lynched him with for 10 cents a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, you had a side that said, no, this is not acceptable for our community, where individuals could have gone to. I mean, that's part of what trying to create this culture is now at the school, by saying, hey, yes, we go to the school that's named after a Klan leader, and while they get their shit together, while the adults get their shit together and figure out how not to be racist in the most efficient way possible, we're going to start creating this community here, and we're going to invite students here into this community, and we're going to protect them like John Brown would protect them, like the governor of Kansas would have protected them back whenever Fred Seaman founded this district.
Mm-hmm.
So only by shifting the culture do you start seeing that actual change, and there are people who are willing to do it. So I mean, while I can see if I was in the middle of Nazi Germany, they have power, they have ultimate control. It's an authoritarian fascist state. Everything you say, hear, and do is recorded. You might be a little bit more hesitant to go out your way. The whole key is to stand up before we get to something like that. And we're already seeing that when it comes to how we respond to law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Chauvin crushed Floyd's neck with an audience.
Yeah.
If not for the badge on his neck, if not for the badge on his body, if not for the gun, the authority of the state, that mob would have jumped his ass. Even if he had a gun, I'm pretty damn sure.
Yeah. I see. I'm sorry, Mr. Big Hashish 710 said George Floyd. Nice spelling. DeRoche Floyd got what he deserved.
Thank you, Big Hashish, for sharing your hateful fascist opinion.
Right on.
Your following does validate what we do, so we appreciate it. You got to bring them too.
Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate your views. We appreciate it.
People like you to prove the fact that we need to say this on a regular basis.
Facts. All day long.
All right.
Man, that's why you got to pop your collar for some of these folks.
Every so often, I got you.
Wait. We in conversation. He says Black Americans are 46% of the military. Y'all hate Africans and go and kill them with your master. I don't even know what this means.
I don't know what this means.
Well, I'm not gonna let this person derail the conversation. But I did think that it was. They want to acknowledge the fascism.
Fascist territory. This is crazy fascism. You got to be coherent. I like Ben Shapiro fascism.
Yeah. See, if you're gonna come at me, bro, you gotta come with coherence, punctuation, grammar, and syntax, because I'm kind of a Nazi. No, I can't say a Nazi. I'm a grammar elitist. There we go. Grammar elitist, because black people can't be Nazis.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, if we're doing this for entertainment, I don't want to waste anybody's time. Whatever, like, you know, we're having, you know, meaningful conversations. You know what? You know how you know what you do?
Yeah. What's that?
Switch to a topic that might be more uncomfortable for the first.
Okay.
I want to talk.
What are you on?
I would like to talk now because you've been talking about race for a while. Let's lighten it up.
Do you want to go down that Old Town Road?
Oh, yeah, I think I do. I don't want to go down the Old Town Road. I ain't trying to ride, but I want to go down. Take my horse. There's a road that's old in a town. Yo, I was hanging out, and a friend of mine was like, yo, have you seen this Lil Nas X video? Oh, the boy. Have you seen this Lil Nas X video? And I'm like, yo, I have not seen it yet, but I'm not like, you know, compelled. I mean, Old Town Road was like Old Town Road. Like, I mean, I thought he did like kid stuff or whatever. Like, you know, I mean, last thing I saw, he was on Sesame Street. And, you know, more power to him. Like, you know, I want him to be able to celebrate his sexuality the way other people celebrate his sexuality.
He was doing his stock thizzle. That's all I can say. He was doing his stock thizzle.
So no, she was like, no, you need to watch this. I'm going to send you, let me show you this. Let me show you this thing. I'm like, okay, all right. So I watched this bad boy, and I was like, well, first of all, like I had to be talked into it. I felt bad about having to be talked into it.
Were you impressed?
Well, the thing was, no, technically it's an awesome video. And I actually watched it a couple times. Symbolism is like profound throughout that video. And I'm like, and after that, I actually became a Lil Nas X fan. Like before, I was like, okay, this gimmick is like, you know, he's doing a country thing, you know, then he's coming out, you know, so, you know, the hip hop community wouldn't have taken him. The country community definitely wouldn't have taken him. Like, you know, he kicked it, he put his foot in the door, and then he's like,
trying to figure out how or why he supposedly is hip hop. Where's the rap at? Like,
well,
does he rap?
Yeah, well, in this new song he does. I mean, he does a little rap sing song thing. Like, you know, it's just like Migos. Like, you know, you can't say Migos is a rap group and not say Lil Nas X, you know, is a rapper too. Because Migos sings all that shit. Are they singers? Are they rappers? Are they rappers who sing? Are they singers who rap? We don't know.
My girl calls them sappers.
Okay, they could be sappers. Well, if they sappers, then, you know, Lil Nas X is a sapper. But they have an audience.
Yeah, I mean, you know, God bless him. God bless him. You know.
I mean, I've had arguments. I've heard an argument against mumble rap, and I was trying to actually find a justification for mumble rap. I was really trying to defend. I like to try to defend art where I can, but like, yeah,
I mean, yeah. I can't. I'll just put it like this: when it comes to, you know, something like Lil Nas X and the whole little video and all that. I mean, I feel about like that, like I did about the WAP video. It ain't my cup of tea. It ain't for me. Keep it moving. Like, I mean, it just ain't for me. And the best way I can, you know, sit there and be like, oh, instead of sitting there and be like, oh, this man is lost. Hey, dude was whatever he was before he came out on the scene. So yeah, all he is now was that now with an audience. So now, you know, does he need guidance? I mean, hey, that's up to him and whoever he believes in, you know what I'm saying? And however he feels like life should be lived. But as far as the video goes, I don't know. I feel like if it ain't for thee, then moving on. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, move on. You don't have to watch it. I didn't. I saw at it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was like, okay, what is it? Right. I heard it, and see me. I'm a hip hop head. I'm a hip hop head. So I dig lyrics, and so I was listening to what he said. And when he said that there was a line, he said, "I want to f the dudes I envy." And I was like, all right, and scene. I'm out. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Feel how you want to feel. Maybe that's how you battle in your battle circles. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm just saying where we do hip hop at, we don't do it like that. It's all I'm saying.
I never heard an openly gay hip hop rapper battle somebody who is heteronormative. I'm not saying that gay hip hop rappers.
I have. I've heard tons of lesbians rap against men.
But what I'm saying is, in regard to
and against women.
That's what I'm trying to say. I could see where that would never ever happen in regard to making sexual innuendo toward, someone. I mean, like that's if you, because imagine if you decide to, put somebody down and then break them down sexually, literally undress them sexually in front of a bunch of other dudes. I don't think hip hop will love it.
It would be the equivalent of a white dude saying the N-word, which I saw on video just last night in a rap battle because he thought he was bold enough, and as soon as he said it, wow!
That also reinforces how much misogyny is ingrained in how we process things, how we receive things. Because that's like when you mentioned WAP early. And WAP came out. It caused an uproar or whatever.
It was supposed to do. It got everybody's attention.
It did, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing being done with this, but from a different kind of gaze and exploiting the same kind of sensationalism that WAP exploited. Where basically, we know that you find the female body both captivating, but at the same time, repulsive. At the same time, something that we should have dominion over.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
So they go out there and they say we're going to do the opposite. I mean, like Cyndi Lauper did the same shit. Fucking Ozzy Osbourne did the same shit, biting heads off of pigeons and stuff like that.
It was a bat.
A bat. I'm sorry.
And Alice in Chains and all their piercings and devil worship. I mean, didn't Motley Crue have a song called "Shout Out"? Was it Motley Crue? Who had a song called "Shout Out to the Devil"?
Shout out to the devil. I think it was Motley Crue. Yeah, shout out to the devil.
I'm just saying. So
yeah.
And where are they now? Hoping that them royalty checks still coming in. You know what I mean? Let them live. Let them do their thing. They did their art, and it made a buzz, created some noise, and people were up in arms and all this stuff. And you know what? Nobody died. At the end of the day, nobody died. Everybody lived. The beat goes on, as they say. People moved on to different songs. The stories died down, and as many people who were talking about, and if you play the song backwards, you're gonna hear it say Jesus is Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those people are gonna come out, say something crazy, go back in their holes. Because at the end of the day, it's just art. That's all it is. It's just somebody putting out their art and their interpretation of things. And I get it. Sure, it was. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I understood. It's a slap in the face to people who are always like, "You going to hell? You going to hell?" And I get it. It's like, okay, if I'm going to hell, but let me do this thing. And then he kills the devil. So it's like, well, so is he even aiming this thing at religious folks? You know what I'm saying? And then again, let's look at it like this. People aren't even looking at it from this angle. Not everybody even believes in the devil.
Exactly. That was
everybody even believes in your Christian authoritarian religious dogma. Not everybody is even ingrained in that. So they're sitting there like, well, what are you upset about? What is this? I mean, yeah, it's like some dude. And then again, if you're a Christian, where in the Bible does it say he's a red dude with the horns and the tail? Where does it say that? See what I'm saying? Like, where is any of that? So if you're a Christian and you're mad, what are you exactly mad at?
You're upset at the symbology that has been.
Why are you looking at it, Christian?
Exactly. How did you see this?
Why are you looking at it, Christian?
The fifth time I watched it, I was totally appalled. But
I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I want to grab myself to keep Jesus from taking hold. Oh.
Wait, that's not a woman.
I watched him on that pole.
After the third time, I was like, wait a minute, that mustache and goatee says otherwise.
And I invite any man here to come to my house and watch it with me.
And prove that they wouldn't also be turned on.
We'll watch it together.
Right. We can do it in a circle.
We'll put the iPad around and just stand around and just watch it together.
There's a couple of jerks in a circle, you know. That's all. So, watching Lil Nas X. Lord, what have I done? The conjured ideas right now. Oh my God, let me stop. Okay, so
bring your Satan outfit.
Jeez. Yeah, but no. Yeah,
we are obsessed with symbology. We're obsessed with forcing our idea or imposing our idea of what's right, how things should be onto other people. And then those same people will turn around and cry victim whenever you're like, yo, I never said I wanted to subscribe to your bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you're making me do these things that I shouldn't have to do. So me saying no isn't an attack on you. It's just me saying fucking no, and I have the right to say no.
Yeah. I have that right, and it's okay for me to do that, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird how everybody tries to put everyone through their own vision of anything. You know, like I have to. I'm looking at you through my filters of life and everything. So I see you as, you know, this and that. And then if you say you believe this, or you have this other thought, or you believe these things are okay, then all of a sudden my filters now are telling me that I should now react and feel a certain way differently now. All of a sudden I should, you know. So I don't know. I feel like that's weird and strange to me. As somebody who grew up in a kind of a dogmatic existence in the Church of God in Christ in Chicago, like, you know, so I kind of had that upbringing where, you know, we didn't talk about anybody, we didn't talk to anybody from any different religions. We just knew that they was wrong. Exactly. That's just how we knew. And but then my cousin in church,
peace and blessings, you going to hell.
Their parents get a divorce. And their mother turns and becomes a Sunni Muslim. So now my cousins go from Jarrell to Jamila. So what? Am I supposed to like not fuck with my own cousin now? Because you see what I'm saying? Like wait. So that's when I was like, wait a minute, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. This means nothing. This obviously means nothing because that's my family. That's what I know. I don't know. Y'all told me that stuff. I know her. You know what I'm saying? Y'all told me that stuff about the dude and the cross. Okay, yeah, in the book because somebody told them. Yeah, right. Yeah, all of that stuff. And then y'all don't even read the book to do it. I know my cousin though. I know her. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I don't know. That just, you know, that is the way that I kind of look at the world and look at things. And so like when it comes to this video and stuff like that, I look at it as like, okay, am I going to sit here and be like, oh, that he going to hell and I don't know where that man's going. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know his route in life. I can't tell you where he's going when he got one foot in the air as he's stepping on the curb. He all of a sudden might do a pivot. Shit, I don't know the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Might be something that he likes to do. I don't know. But so I have no idea. So I won't sit there and look at it out, but if he puts out something, he puts it out obviously in the space because he wants it to be looked at in some sort of way. So, okay, I'll look at the thing and say, is this something that I can at least appreciate? No. Is this something I can at least say that I like and like his art? Nah, not really. I mean, I can appreciate the artistry that's done into it, but does it do anything for me? Not a thing. Am I going to pass it on or vilify it or demonize it in any sort of way? Nah, I'm not going to do that either because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not for me. It's not my thing. Push it on and move on and go on about my day. And you know what? I am suddenly fine. My day feels good. I'm just saying, like I didn't carry it with me, so I'm not burdened with this thing that I'm looking at through a dogmatic filter that tells me I'm supposed to hate it. You know what I'm saying? Like that is if you look at it like that, that is like dude, like so I know this is really kind of getting off subject, but I'm just talking about like labels and things, right? So I was talking with my cousins. So I have some other cousins who actually were all raised in the same type of church. All my male cousins. And we had a chat, and one of them was asking today, what is an alpha male, or what do y'all think an alpha male is? And I'm just like, dude, like, and one of them tried to like compare it to, you know, like in the animal kingdom. And I'm like, we're not animals. Like we show strengths in so many different ways that we can't just sit there and say like just the strong, just the strong wins. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that. And so I don't feel like I feel like we should be above trying to put a label on a thing and saying, well, that's the thing, that's the way the way it is, period. You know, so you know,
I mean, we don't. At the end of the day, what do we know? Like, what do we know? What do we know? But what we are experiencing right now, and even right now, we don't know all of that. Like you experiencing some shit right now in your corner of the world that I'm not experiencing, and I will never experience because this moment is past. So
look at this crack.
Exactly, that's your experience right there. I'm sorry about that. That crack is getting resolved. However, that crack is supposed to be resolved. Crack is you will definitely deal with that.
It is resolved, thank God. But
exactly,
it looks bad. You got to paint it.
Oh, you just got okay. All right, good. That looks like good work, and you know that's good work because of the experience that you had with it.
And I paid.
Exactly. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all having these different experiences, and for us to impose our experience upon somebody else and say, you know what, you need to experience this way because this is how I experienced it.
That's really selfish.
Exactly.
It's a very selfish way of looking at things, and that's why, like, I feel like religion in itself is kind of selfish if you think about it. You know, because each one is saying my way is the right way.
Whether you do it politely or no, because it's like that. You either got your bold, you know, loud, devout, you know, zealots who are like, you're going to burn in hell, fire and brimstone. This book says it. But then you have people who are just like quietly behind the scenes, like, you know, everyone can believe what they want to believe, but one day God's going to come back and they're going to burn in hell, fire and brimstone.
You're going to die. Right. I'm not going to judge you here. I'll just be looking at you from the other side of the pearly gates and saying, sorry.
Exactly.
Wait, what is the song? It's too. Oh, there's no time to change your mind. The sun has come and you've been left behind. I wish they'd all been ready.
So it's like, yeah, you want to be in that number, you know, in that great getting up morning, you know. So and I recognize the role religion has played over the years in regard to like getting people to so many things.
No, sure.
And I also recognize all religion isn't the same. So I kind of want to like dial that back because like there are some people who recognize like, yo, like everything should go along. We should go along to get along. Like nobody is any better than anybody else or whatever. Like I can follow that. But it's the people who are like, nobody is better than anybody else as long as they believe what I believe. That's where I have the issue.
Those are the ones that scare me, honestly. Those are the zealots that are out there. And in most, I'm gonna say in most cases, and a lot of times we've seen, especially the more elevated ones, are the ones who are committing the most heinous of offenses that they're witnessing and telling everyone else not to commit.
I mean, I want to believe that at one point I thought things were getting better because religion has been on decline globally. I read some article, I think earlier today, it said something like a third of all churches or whatever, you know, have seen a decline in enrollment and whatnot. And so at one point when I saw that trend coming, you know, being a pantheist, saying to myself, like, finally, like people are starting to fucking get it. Like, you know, let's stop integrating religion into everything we freaking do and actually start trying to just help people. Like, let's do that. Like, let's make the religion the people. oh, it turns out that, you know, these people are turning away from religion and turning into politics. Politics is becoming their religion. And that's the reason why you saw, that's why you saw, you know, Trumpism being what it is. Same thing, built off of lies and false history and you know, a dogmatic way of, so people talk about it like it's a cult, but people don't want to use the term cult when you speak about, like, you know, certain religions. But that's basically what a cult is. It's basically a religion, you know, that's very, very focused, you know, and people can expand cults. Like at one time, Scientology was considered a cult. Then it became state.
Wait, it's not still? I thought it was still considered a cult.
Well, because they officially were recognized by the government as a religion, now it's no longer a religion. At one time, Christianity was considered a cult. One time.
Was it?
Yeah, one time it was.
Well, I know the practice of it in certain ways was considered cultish, but I didn't know that Christianity as a whole was considered a cult.
No, I'm talking about the way that it proliferated. The first practitioners of Christianity were considered to be part of it.
Okay, sure.
So now I'm not talking about like the faith itself. I'm talking about Christianity in practice because of how it was practiced and because it was unfamiliar to individuals and they didn't know anything about it. I mean, when we've seen that same kind of persecution happen here in regard to witches, we were drowning women left and right because, you know, of religious beliefs. Let's get into the Dark Ages. That's the other thing too. Like, I would say some of that Dark Age shit that was perpetuated by Christians was some cult shit. Like, you want some of the torture devices? That's not.
They took the stuff that they liked. They amalgamated the stuff so now they became the amalgamated religious services of the Wiccan Church.
Exactly. So that's like a very, very. I mean, like, a cult can become a religion really. It depends. It's much like when people talk about like one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. One man's cult member is another, you know, man's religious practitioner.
Sure. Right.
That's all.
I don't know. I look at it like this. I look at it like when you're in a religion, you're following a deity that, you know, has ascended. They have a good backstory. You know, the origin story is like super duper. You know what I'm saying? It's always some old phenomena out this world. You know, Photoshop type stuff that is, you know, green screen. That's the only way you can replicate it today type shit. Whereas cults, generally the person that they're following is still alive.
True.
Generally, that's what makes a cult a cult. The person that they're following ain't dead yet.
Well, that's why your more effective cults aren't going to say, "Yo, follow me." They'll say, "Follow this entity." Through.
Right. It's not about me. It's about the thing that I can get you, but you can only get that through me.
Through me.
Koresh anyone?
Through me. So yeah, and that's the same thing. Trumpism. Yes, I will get you your country back, but only through me. As long as you subscribe to Trumpism and everything I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, how I tell you to do it. Even if it involves you storming the Capitol and taking the shit and walking around. Yeah. You know, do that through me. And I will deliver
the fishers of men.
Exactly. Make your country great again.
There you go.
Turn this water into hooker piss. That's what I'm gonna do for you.
What? Water and hooker piss.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to say we still have not seen the P tape. I'm upset, Joe Biden.
Oh, dude, yeah. You know, listen, we haven't seen his taxes. We haven't seen the P tape. I want to see something come out. I want to see him in court. I want to see him under invest. I want to see this thing. He's under investigation for 42 different. Where is it? Why is he still rolling around? Why is he able to go into from a court why is he able, first of all, to live at the country club when the law clearly states that he can't? Second of all, why is he able to just pop into somebody's wedding reception and do a 30-minute toast to a couple that he doesn't even know, and then go on for the next 15 minutes about an election that he apparently thought he won? How is it he's able to do this and nobody says anything?
The damn insurrectionist orchestrators are still in fucking Congress passing laws, going on vacations, hopping out the country because, snowstorms, Ted Cruz, and coming back and still gainfully employed. Josh Hawley, who was all like, go storm the Capitol. All these people, a cop died. Woman shot dead in the neck. We saw her die on TV. Kapow! Slump. We saw it. And we're supposed to believe, like, yo, this is normal. This is cool. People actually, but
people are getting off, though. People are getting off. People have gotten off. People who have been seen doing things have gotten arrested, are now being released. How? This, like, okay, and I know we're kind of like all over the place, and we're kind of coming back to where we first started, but dude, like, why is there never a white version of a Central Park 5? Where is that? Where's the white version of the four little girls? Where's the white version of any of these, like, injustices where we hear about somebody who, after 17,000 years, now we found out, he wasn't guilty, y'all. We gonna go ahead and let him out. He's only 28 days from dying. Let's go ahead and let him see what an iPhone is like, y'all. Let's go ahead, bring him out and shock him with technology. Let's go ahead and let him die from shock from all the newness of life. Let's go ahead and do that since he's been in for all of his life.
We'll give him $1 million he'll ever be able to spend in the last 2 years of his life. That's what we'll do. Yeah,
and then has to do it from a halfway house or some goofy shit. And it's like, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. This country, the system, the circle, and everything I was talking about is like, it's all built up to, even alpha males and all that shit. It's like and that I mean labels. It all builds up to create false leadership or false gods, I guess you could say, that we follow. And it seems like, that's what we end up putting our faith in nowadays. And kind of like what you were saying, that's what people are trading in their religion for. I definitely believe that, especially when it comes to the fact that, you can present to someone who is a, diehard Trump supporter, and you present them with facts on top of facts on top of facts, like fact, and they still double down.
Yeah.
I mean, if that ain't religious faith, because that's basically, and I won't say religious faith. If that's not a certain type of faith, I won't say religious. I'll just say if that's not a certain type of faith, I don't know what that is. Because
it's trafficking. It's a religion at its core, whether it's one of your good religions or bad religions. You're trafficking emotion. That's all you're doing. You're just trafficking emotion. I'm selling you a dream. I'm literally selling.
Yeah. And I got a great story. You want to hear it? Let me tell you about a man. He's your friend.
Exactly. And for the low price of $10,
your undying faith.
I gotta see how much you believe. So that means that you're gonna have to open your pockets a little wider, because anybody can give me $1, but can you give me $10? Can you give me $500?
If you can give me $500, can you give me $10,000? Can you give me your life? Can you follow me through the trenches as we ascend
together with your wallet
into the kingdom? Your wallet, retirement, heaven.
And when you pass into the great beyond, will you be able to look back at your will and say you gave your estate to the Church of Rock and the Savior, run by yours officially? Will you? Oh boy,
I will.
Exactly. Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. I'll be by your house later on tonight to lay hands.
Where do I sign my check? Where do I sign this check over to?
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. I'll be by later on tonight to lay hands on you. Is your husband?
Dude, that's that crazy shit, dude.
But no, I mean, people want to believe and that's one of the things we talk about in a post-scarcity society. Sure. You know, we should be able to provide for everybody, but capitalism requires that somebody has to be fucked over somewhere, somehow. And so
eat somebody.
We have to create this illusion of scarcity because we've got to compel these cops to continue putting knees on necks. And we got to compel people to continue to be afraid of having a knee put on their neck. So we've got to keep them at odds some way, somehow. So we're going to create this illusion of scarcity, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to make it seem like there's not enough to go around, so you all fight one another ad nauseum.
Yeah, that's it. While the decadents sit there still eating their filet mignon,
surrounded by the cops,
little knife and forks.
Take shots. Whoa! That guy got shot. Anybody want to take his place?
Someone, please. I need another. You of the mob. No. You. I'll elevate you. Would you like to be a cop? Yes. Turn around. Now fight them. Now
I'll let you be extra racist. I'll give you some nice new guns. I'll let you be extra racist. I hear you like it.
More filet mignon. And I know it's filet mignon. I'm just being an asshole.
I know you know.
I'm saying that for anybody watching, like, this asshole doesn't know how to speak. He thinks it's filet mignon. Mignon.
He probably eats Grey Palpin. That's what he
is.
That's what he has. Mustard, Grey Palpin.
And I drink that Courvoisier.
Right.
Anytime I'm having me a nice little, I want to have a nice little something before I go to bed, some Courvoisier.
Right. Exactly.
Delicious.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you, Seb, for coming out, man. Like, having you on is always good. But yeah, like, things are continuing to develop, fronts continue to develop. I thank you for all your contributions. I want to thank you especially for all your contributions, not just coming on the show, but also for what you've contributed behind the scenes in regard to what we're doing out there, with these students, and what we hope to do with these students down in Florida. I feel like we can get something moving that can definitely we can use hate to fund something good.
I'm with that. I believe in it. I had a plan for that myself. I came to a while ago. I came to Jesse Jackson Jr. actually with a plan very similar to do something like that, like use a way to use someone's hate to do something great.
And that's we own it. We own it.
Yeah. So I support it. I'm with it. We at the Info Rail, whatever we could do to get behind y'all, we're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, just let us know when we in there. Swim.
All right. Casey Info Rail, 7 Black Men. Thank you so much, my dude.
Peace. Yeah.